We recently came into possession of a new staining machine that is coming in. It's not currently in yet, but it is coming in here in the next few weeks. So we got an order in. We still got to use this thing, the stain dippy tank thing, but it's probably going to be the last time we're using it. So we're filming this video today to figure out the pros and cons of this one compared to the new one that we're getting in. Let's get started. Alright, so the tank is filled. I'm gonna start dipping boards. Enjoy. Not really a whole lot in there.
So it's a little shallow, but it's because we had some issues with these things right there. The mixers are not working, so...
Welding on an extension to our drill powered mixer. Thought we could mix up the big tank, since this one was only a quarter full. Oh, the long boy!
It's not too bad.
And look. Just the right height.
Just the right height. Hot damn board.
Okay, so far so good. We're waiting on more stain.
Baby hands. Ow! I'm doing this for you, Braden. Oh God.
Okay, so it is now Thursday morning. We ran out of time yesterday, and so then Eric finished the rest of this morning. The big downside to this is now we have to let it dry because obviously it was dumped, so it takes quite a while for it to run off and dry. We normally leave it up overnight because if you don't, it can be kind of tacky when they go to apply it. If you just downstack it right away, it'll kind of stay wet, and even though it looks fine, it can be annoying when you actually put it at the fence. So we normally let it dry overnight, then downstack it, and then send it out with the guys. So that's kind of the downside of this process. With the new machine that we're getting, we should just be able to feed it through. It probably takes a little bit slower or about the same time as this at the time, but then you save the hours of having to let this sit there. So that's nice. You can just kind of do it on the fly as you go.
All right, guys, today is the day. We've got the Expert Stain and Seal staining machine here. If you watch the channel at all, you already saw its release at Fence Tech. Well, we got in line immediately, said as soon as you have another one, can we have one? One, I'd like to show you guys because I think it'll be revolutionary for what we do as a business. Therefore, it could be revolutionary for what you do as a business as well. Also, we're a little tired of our dip tank. If you've watched the channel at all, you know this is how we're staining boards. It's got its benefits, it does. But where this machine will shine, one is small batches, right? So if we're staining like 10 or 15 pickets, this thing can rip right through them. Well, this order, we've got 100 pickets and 16 rails. And it's right on the line of when we would fill this thing up with stain, because it takes 55 gallons of stain. We got to mix it, we got to pump it, dip it, let it dry, pump it back out. And then what happens if the project gets extended, or the crew needs 12-foot 2x4s to get across utilities or tree roots? Anyway, this machine is going to come in really clutch for those smaller projects, and overall, I really think it's going to be a cleaner process. What do you think, Matt? Matt says yes.
That was my version of yes.
Guys, CompanyCam has an event coming up. Actually, it's 3 events. 3 one-day events, 3 different cities across the United States. They're calling it Blueprint, so this is an event for really contractors of any trades. It used to be kind of a roofing specific, but as we know, CompanyCam is useful for a variety of trades, including fence. Just basically about implementing technology into your business, how to get traction with it, that sort of thing. Now, the most interesting thing is if we scroll down here to the keynote speaker, if you guys follow the channel, you recognize Sean Van Dyke. Great guy. We got 2.5 hours of his time to talk just all things contractors. I wish I had more. This guy, he's an incredible guy to listen to. I hope I have the chance to attend, to be able to be a student listening to him teach. For more information on the event, we've got a link in the description for you. So without further ado, let's open this dude up. First things first, very well packaged.
It's like Christmas morning.
So it comes with most of the brushes already pre-installed. We've got a few rollers in there. Let's lift this up and off, Matt, and see if the legs are underneath it. Nope, I bet they are in here.
Seriously small package.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
So that's going to be a nice thing too, is we're going to free up a little bit of floor space in here too. So obviously the stain tank takes up a good amount of space. We'll probably end up turning this into drying rack, or when we run our pickets through here, we're going to stand them up for probably half an hour just to let everything, you know, even out, let the stain even out. So a staging area, call it what you will. Let's see. We got them all here. Probably. I think these are going to face the inside.
Okay.
Something like that. Okay, so I bet the vertical ones go here.
Yeah.
I would think so.
So that would go here somewhere.
Yeah. But then this,
Well, that
that seems like it fits right in here.
Yeah, with this one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it does. I
No,
don't,
I mean
this
the
pan?
pan.
Yeah, well, I wonder why. Maybe, yeah, why does it go here? What do you mean? So the board would go,
Hey, buddy, how are you?
because this goes in the bottom.
Good. Hey, we
So
are
you put-
assembling
this goes
this.
way, right? So like if there's a
Want to
board
make
going
sure we're
through,
getting it right.
you go like that.
This
Weird.
is
But
a
look-
reservoir to fill this up as it's dripping. Probably it rolls through and catches it. Maybe.
Okay. See, there is a drain
That would
under
make
that.
sense, man. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like-
yeah. Yes, and it will. This is at an angle, so this will still drain. That
Okay.
would make sense, man. To keep that way, you can kind of
But he
refill.
said that
Maybe.
those pieces of wood go under it.
Oh,
they have to go
yeah,
under it?
You're right.
That's what he said. He
Okay.
said that's like the beta version of this.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you can just adjust that based on the board. So it's really pretty easy to set up, really.
Yeah. All right. So after just a few minutes, we've got it all set up. Now, in true fashion, we didn't actually stop to see if there were instructions, but it was pretty intuitive to get it set up. What do you think? A couple minutes?
Yeah, probably
Took-
3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. Pretty easy.
The rollers are fully adjustable, so we've adjusted those. We just put in one of our 2x4s that we're going to stain and just kind of snugged everything up against it. Now, one thing, talking to Caleb, we're probably the first piece through, we're probably going to put through a second time as these rollers first get stain on them. So the way it's going to work is the stain will sit. All right, so the stain is going to come out through these dispensers, which is nice that they've got basically on-off. So we can fill it with stain, make sure we're ready to go, turn those on. Now they'll all fill this trough that has perforations in it. So then the trough will then drain down onto this sponge evenly, which would be nice. So the first time through, we'll probably need to go a couple times, let this sponge get full of stain, and then same thing with the bottom. So probably what we'll end up doing, guys, is let it drip a little bit without something in it, just to let that stain. Probably run these by hand on the dry side to let this bottom. We want this bottom tray to fill up.
Yeah.
All right, that's kind of what we're thinking here, is that this bottom tray fills up with stain to allow the roller, that bottom roller, to stay saturated, because the top roller is going to stay saturated from the drip pan. Bottom roller needs to stay saturated somehow. So we'll drain out enough before we put something in to get both these saturated. Once it works its way through, we've got a bunch of brushes. It's basically going to, I mean, for lack of a better term, back brush.
Right.
Right, so it's going to brush it in all the nooks and crannies.
Get the excess off, you know.
Yep.
That's one advantage I already see from the old method is, I guess we'll find out when we run through, but just drying time in general. Maybe we won't have to wait a day for them to drip dry. So
that's kind of the discussion. Is when we're talking to Caleb, he had said they put them up for about 30 minutes, just to allow them to kind of evenly let the stain even out, and then they can stack them. Right now, we're staining them, we're letting them sit overnight, then we're down stacking. And the beautiful part of pre-staining indoors is it's actually getting ready to storm. So you'll hear that come through on the audio maybe, but we're going to stay nice and dry in here.
Woo, I'm getting wet here too.
all right, so while Joe ran into the office to handle a customer or some business, he put me on the task of mixing up the stain for our 100 picket order. So we've got a couple of different options for mixing up the 5-gallon buckets. Back when we had the dip tank and we were doing the 55-gallon drums, we basically just had a couple of like mortar mixers or big kind of electric mixers. Those actually burnt up within about 4 or 5, 6 months maybe, so they didn't last long. But with this, luckily, because it's not very deep, we're gonna be able to use some different types of brushes. So we have the one that we use, which is just basically a paint mixer. It's made out of metal. It's really good at probably stirring it up, but it's not so great at getting down into the pigment and really getting that stuff loosened up. So we have a couple of other options. We've got this here, and this will be really good. It's kind of flanged out on the ends to get into the corners of the bucket. That should help mix it up. We also have this created by the stain man. I believe his name is Kenny Dugan. And like any good idea, he probably got it while sitting on the toilet, because this is a toilet brush. But definitely looks like it could do a pretty good job. So we're gonna try them all out, see which one we like, and get to mixing. This is the bear hug technique. Yeah, and after we were talking, and I think we both agreed that we'll probably only need 1 5-gallon bucket. We're gonna go ahead and mix up 2 though, just in case we do need to end up dipping into that second one. We're gonna go ahead and throw in our paint mixer that we used before. We know this works pretty good, but we'll give it a stir. That does seem to be doing a pretty good job. Now we're gonna try the flanged plastic tipped red one. See how that goes. That one works pretty good. I can actually feel the thickness at the bottom of the thing kind of start to lift up. So this one works pretty good.
Last but not least.
What is that one?
It's a toilet brush. It's what Kenny Dugan likes to use.
This has got some serious thought behind it.
That's
Gotta
actually
love
dope.
that.
That's sick.
I really like that.
Holy crap.
Oh man, yeah, no kidding.
It's pretty easy to make sure it's off, just as long as it's perpendicular.
So there's no power. It's just
No, it's just gravity.
Go ahead and fill her up, yeah.
I mean, it filled that up really easy.
I want to know if it'll fill the whole thing.
It might.
It might. It's looking like it's getting close.
It would make sense if it did. Okay.
Smells nice.
Good to know.
Brownie.
Now let's look at
Chocolate.
the bottom here.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
see clumps of it in there. I mean, very little.
Yeah.
So I'd say they did a good job. You just don't want to see clumps of it in there. So that's just you're gonna get sediment. That's just whatever settled out after you stop mixing, settled out to the bottom again.
Yeah.
So no, I think that went well.
Yeah, so I wonder though that if when and if it picks it up, then it transfers it to the back.
That's it. That must be it. Ready? Inaugural board.
Yep, inaugural board. No, you can do it, Matt. Give her a go. We'll turn this.
Or if we just don't send her through a couple times. Oh, fudge! That.
And he did say, yeah, first time it'll probably need to go through again, which it definitely does.
I don't know. It looks pretty good.
No, this side's messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
side.
I feel like this brush here is too tight.
It is. I'm having a hard time pushing it through.
How's that feel pulling it out?
Yeah, it's still pretty.
That's not near as bad as it was, honestly.
pushing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pulling too.
Yeah, go ahead and pull.
Still good. Well,
That's better.
Hike. Up. Just building this wave here that then falls down.
Oh, so close.
Dabby.
Okay, we're timing to see how long it takes.
And go.
Set this over here. No, stop it. And stop. 23 minutes, 25 seconds.
All right, 23 minutes for 100 boards.
All right, guys.
just like that, 23 minutes into it, we've got 100 Pickett stains. So, you know, we were talking while this was going on, and generally maybe a little bit slower than dipping. I think probably maybe marginally, not gonna be noticeably so. But the benefits being, one, obviously a lot smaller footprint. Two, we use less stain. We didn't have to pump 55 gallons in, wait for it to drip dry, pump it out again tomorrow morning. If we really needed to, these boards came off just damp to the touch, to where we can downstack these reasonably within a half an hour. So rather than have to wait overnight and send them out tomorrow, downstack and send them out tomorrow morning, if we really had to, we could give it half an hour and then run them out today. So quicker drying time, the coating was just as complete as dipping them. Yeah, and less stain use. So overall, I think it's a really good system. I like it. We'll be switching to it. I mean, I want to run a few more batches before we just completely tear down the stain tank, but first blush, actually I guess this is the second blush. First blush would have been at FinceTech, but I saw it there, and after actually working with our hands, I like it. Matt, what do you think from the operation standpoint?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's like you said, it's a neater, tighter package. My biggest thing was, I wonder how wet they're gonna come out, because that's a huge benefit of not having to catch all the stain. And they were relatively dry. So I could see us using this in the future and it being a success. So.
All right, guys, like we said, we really like it. I think you would too. For more information about the Expert Stainless Steel machine, we'll have a link in the description below. All right, guys, so the video was done. I just recorded that little outro. But Matt and I and Braden were talking about this, that first experience with it, or I guess first reaction being, took a lot less setup. Matt was saying he had all of his tools here to where, just in case we need to tweak something, adjust something. Matt, how long do you think it took us to set this thing up, start to finish?
Realistically, less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's, and then when we switch over from 2x4s to Pickets, a couple minutes maybe, and we were taking our time.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, I asked Braden to go grab the camera so we could record this part of this, because I think it's worth saying that the setup for this thing was really super easy. I was expecting it to take a lot longer. We were up and staining in 10-15 minutes. So anyway, add that to the video.